All right, welcome to Yard Tour Spring 2024. All right, let's start over here. So here we neighbor our neighbor's yard, and the fence is probably 6 feet onto our property, and I'm debating, I want to put apple trees over here. This is where the solar deer sprinkler, auto deer sprinkler thingies are going to be, because I can kind of isolate this part of the yard. I have 4 trees so far. I will be getting more just as they go on sale and stuff. I have Jonah Gold, Red Delicious, I think I have one Honey Crisp, and then a Pink Lady, I think, which I don't even know how that tastes, but yeah, so the problem is placement. I also want some visual block over here, and so I don't know if I should use the apple trees as that, because some of these will get quite large. I think these ones get like 20 feet high or something. Oh, 10 to 15. Oh, that is semi-dwarf. Okay. Well, what was this one? I thought one of them was. Okay, both 10 to 15. So that's not huge. But 15 feet is actually quite high. But I would like to kind of block some visibility from their second floor into our yard, you know, when we're running around in bathing suits or something. Anyway, so I've got 4 of those, and I don't know if I should put them over there where it gets a little shaded. I also have the gate right here, and I also access the shed a lot, or the this part over here quite a bit, and so I can't put my motion sensing sprinklers over here where I'm going to be working, but they can go over there, and I don't really want to put them in their yard. So I don't know, it's kind of a deal with like how to prevent the deer. Let's go over here. So the maples are doing great. This one, it's a sugar maple, and it's just getting, I mean, it's growing like, I don't know, at least 2 to 3 feet a year. So that's really good. I've got various bulbs and stuff, and I've also got dogwood shrubs, the yellow bark version, and also some red ones over there, which I had them in one place, but apparently the deer were eating them, and so I swapped them out with something else, and I don't know where to put these right now. But I do want to pair them with some sort of evergreen, preferably something kind of bluish, so that there's a contrast in their colors, which I think is really good. I don't really know what these are. I found them in the forest, and then I've got some clumps of daffodils that I haven't planted. Revamp this area right here. So first of all, check out this lawn edge. I curved it a little bit more, but the main thing that I wanted to do is, I think these are 9 barks, and I had something else here. These were kind of put behind a little bit, and I had something else that was kind of a green leaf, but it really blended in with the normal foliage of this witch hazel. This witch hazel blooms in February, if you can believe that, and then it has regular green foliage, and I wanted something contrasting here, and these 9 barks are a dark, almost a dark purple or burgundy. Burgundy is a better word. And so that'll be a nice contrast. And then I've got the, and then I put some of the irises that I had to place somewhere. So we'll have kind of contrasting colors there as well, which I think looks really good. And then I really like this edge, the albastille or stilla, I don't know how to pronounce it. So I also pushed some of these a little bit farther away from the edge because they were too close, because I had too many shrubs here. Now I have too few. Now there's kind of a big gap there, but these should fill in that area there, and hopefully the 9 bark expand a little bit this year. They've had some fungus issues, so that's kind of a problem. Moving on over here in the circle, so these gold cypress are getting quite large. Those ones are even larger. I've always thought of moving them someplace, but I don't know where. Right here I've got, man, I wish I could remember things. Oh, I think these are a type of hydrangea. And I had them somewhere else, so I kind of found them there in a shady area. And the deer had never found them, so I thought they didn't eat them, but they just get like completely annihilated over here. So I have to move those. A couple random daffodils here. Yeah, so this whole area, I would actually like to move all this stuff and have this be lawn and turf, and actually not end the curve here, but also incorporate that area back there, to right about where that is. But that is a massive amount of work, and I don't know when I'm going to be able to get to that. But this is just a very flat area of the yard, and so that would be nice to kind of incorporate that. These evergreens from last year that I got bare root are still alive, surprisingly. I did lose some of them. I don't know where to put those either. Over here is where I put the, I took all the mums up for the winter and covered them in some leaves, not too great. So I'm not sure if all of these survived. I'll have to see. Let's see, did they? I hope so, but who knows? It was a pretty mild winter, so I don't know, but it was good enough. It was big enough that we lost. So this is a cherry something dogwood, and it blooms really early with a yellow. It's kind of the same time as forsythia does, with a yellow flower. And it had 3 trunks, and 2 of the trunks fell under snow load this year. So now we have a privacy hole with the condos behind us. So I need to fill that in with some trees. Here's all the part of it that fell, and then that's the pile of the trunks. So it actually kind of did it in slow motion. So the far this side of it actually fell, and then I was like, oh, and I kind of shook the rest of it to kind of get some snow off and thought it was okay, and then the middle section fell. I was like, oh, it wasn't too bad when only the first piece fell, but after that it wasn't great. All right, I forget what these things are called, but these are really reliable every year. These are great because they start blooming in early March, sometimes even late February. That might be a little early, I think in March. So they're really great, and they're also evergreen. They never, their leaves like don't die off and stuff in the winter, so that's kind of cool. I do want to use more of those up near the house. This is the area, you can't see it very well because of the lighting right now, of creeping bentgrass, and on this side I sprayed it with tenacity, and on this side I didn't. It's definitely lower over here, but it is coming back. After I did that experiment, so that was only a single application. I need to do multiple applications this year, but I've got a spot there, I've got a spot here, and also that brings us over to the Fate Golf Course. So, not golf course, but the Fate Green. So you can see that the creeping bentgrass is just all over here. This is sort of a high wear area, like when we have events and stuff, but it's already going all the way down there. So I am going to do a defining spray with tenacity. So I'm going to spray around the Fate Green and all this area. I'm going to do multiple applications, and I'm going to try to control the creeping bentgrass here, and yeah, just make sure it doesn't, because it's replacing all the bluegrass and stuff like that. And then, so if you look back, and then the main field, like this stuff is coming in great early this year. It's been, the ground is still moist, and it's starting to warm up. We had a cold week last week. It was like, I don't know, 40s and 50s, and maybe 50 as the high temperatures. So it's not quite ready to full on bloom, but it looks like I'm gonna need to mow this stuff pretty soon. Actually, let's go take a closer look. Yeah, so you can see we're actually getting some frost here. Is that frost or is that mold? No, that's frost. It was kind of cold last night, but if I put my finger here, you can see some of these blades are getting pretty big. So it's not super dense, but the underlying grass is pretty dense. This really struggled in the summer last year, and then once it actually got some water and was able to recover. Water is in rain. I could never keep up with it with my sprinkler. Here you can see a nice separation of where the creeping bent grass versus the bluegrass. I seeded 2 years ago, I think, a bunch of tall fescue, I think, in this yard, and I don't know that any of it came up. I think what's actually here, well, it did come up, but I don't know that any of it survived. I think what's actually here is the underlying legacy bluegrass that just goes dormant really quickly, and then comes back with a vengeance when it actually has ideal conditions. So I've added a bunch of solar lights to the playhouse here, which really keeps it usable in the evening. So like when the kids are using the swings or stuff, they're not like wandering around in the dark. Kids can see better, but even so, I've got like so many like random little thingies. I want to consolidate these a little bit into good areas. But yeah, so that's that. Still need to do some edging around some of these perimeters. You can't really tell right now, but the grass looks absolutely horrendous. It's kind of hard to show this, but this is all just lumpy bumpy POA. I did get some edging done here. And I have a constant quest here of this privacy hedge and trying to make it so that we can, I want to preserve a view of our side lot and yet also have a privacy hedge for everything else. And it's proving to be very challenging. These haven't quite filled out high enough in order to block, you know, like neighbors' windows, because the houses are up kind of tall. And then, so I could just fill in back there with a bunch of stuff, that would work. But then it would definitely, there would be like, you know, it'd be like there's nothing over there anymore. I can't really see. And it really adds to the yard just to kind of have a long distance view over there. Because over here our yard is a little bit shallower. It's kind of more horizontal than deep. So anyway, I had this idea yesterday of, so I'm accenting with dogwoods. This is a pink dogwood, and I've already put one right there for an obvious, like, this is kind of an area that sees right into our patio. So I was like, oh, well, I can kind of make them on a ring here, and then because they're closer this way, once they fill out a little bit, that'll really block the high view. And the low view is already taken care of by the evergreens, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not. So that one's not quite in the ground. That one is in the ground, but I've been moving stuff all over the place. Still don't know where to put my boxwoods. Oh yeah, this is an autumn blaze maple tree. You can barely see it right here. And now you can see it if I move. It was right here because I wanted kind of make a tree cluster here, but the problem was this dogwood's foliage was too imposing, even though I did clear it a little bit, and so ended up with this kind of curved stuff, like, you know, situation like that. I was like, that's not gonna work. So I moved it over here, and that's just, I don't know, it looks good. It looks kind of like a show tree right here. If I ever put solar on the shed, this shouldn't impact it too much, because the sun will be overhead here, and by the time it gets to an angle where this would affect it, like this tree will already be blocking the sun. So I was trying to future-proof it like that, and so now there's this area to deal with. I still have these yellow July blooming things, which I can always never remember what they're called. These are fiery burning bush, not fiery, just burning bush. And I need to move those. I want those on this side of the yard to catch fall light when they're a bright red. I've always thought about putting them here, but they have really thick branches, so I don't know if I want to do that because kids will run into them or something. And I'm also thinking of putting the mud kitchen, which currently is over there, and moving that to over here. The space is fine, and it's just there's not a whole lot of growing options over here because it's really shady, especially because of this dogwood, which I could trim that, but then I don't know, what's the point? And it's just kind of a good use of this corner, maybe, I don't know. So that's kind of in the works, but it has to be leveled, and we need a surface they can walk on, like mulch or something. And I have to make sure that you know, it's graded well so that the shed doesn't get water. So that's just going to be a never-ending project. This little guy here, this is a whistling aspen. So I do have some other bare root ones. I have some in the back. The deer did nibble on these because they were their first year. They seem to nibble on anything in its first year. So, but this one is still strong, and I don't know if I'll keep it here, but that's kind of cool. And then I do have a grapevine right here, which we'll see what happens with that. I also have to figure out where to put the mums this year. I'm not sure where to put them. Lots of revisions back here. I've been working on privacy right here. That's why I had this long thing, but we're gonna end up putting a 6-foot high solid fence back there, which other houses can still see over it. But if you go down to waist level, that fence is about, I don't know, 40 inches or something. So if you go over 2 feet higher than that, that'll give some decent clearance. And then I also got these right here that kind of obstruct it a little bit. But so I had 2 of these actually, and I was going to put them all the way out to right there and kind of block that view, and that would have been effective, but it did look kind of funny. And so with the fence and stuff, I think it's going to be fine. This dogwood, this is a Kousa dogwood, I think. This does block some of the other part of that house, and so I think between these measures, I don't know, I can always add something over here too. But so I've kind of toned down on that. These rhododendrons, which look a little lanky for here, I might need to prune those back so they don't look so scraggly, or put them somewhere else, I don't know. But they were over here up against that fence, which pretty much got no sunlight. And again, I've got 2-story visibility, so this, what is this? This is an early Eastern Redbud. So I actually had that over here, and it wasn't budding that early. It still hasn't really budded out. And so I put a pink dogwood here, and I had it too close to the house, I think. I had it like over there. And this window gets direct sunlight, so that's kind of why I put a tree here. And I also wanted it to be a really nice ornamental tree. So this is another one of the pink dogwoods. So this will be nice and pretty. Also give some relief to the sun. It might be a little too short. The sun actually comes down, but these are supposed to get like, I don't know, 15 feet high. So I think it'll be something that will be plenty high eventually. Anyway, but I took the redbud out, and I started I'm gonna add some trees along this fence, which will kind of address the overlooking privacy compromise over there. I did think about putting apple trees over here, because this would be kind of easier. That would be easier to regulate in terms of deer. And I forgot why I didn't do that. I think, yeah, it is kind of a good idea. The trees would have to be tall though, which then picking apples is kind of a problem. And it'll also be going over our neighbor's yard unless I specifically prune them that way. I still might do that, I don't know. I still have to think about that, because there are definitely some advantages. And then, yeah, I just keep never changing stuff here. I have some really large hostas here, which like 3 feet wide when they come out. They're a nice blue color, but the deer have been coming back here more. And so for one of them, I took out and I put a forsythia right here, which is nice because it blooms nice and early. It's really great to have stuff that blooms early, just to remind you that winter will be ending. And then I have another one right, another hosta here that I haven't replaced. Bleeding hearts, Haucheras or coral bells. The peonies should be coming up this year. Again, obviously the bearded iris. So I don't know. I never know what I'm gonna do, what I want to do with this corner right here. I would definitely like it to be more uniform, maybe 2 or 3 different things that are timed well, and then just so it looks more like, it looks okay when everything's up, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't look very good when it's like this. So moving over here, this is a super long. These, I can't remember what these plants are. This is where I had the red twig dogwoods and stuff, and the deer were eating them. The deer do not eat these. And these, when they bud, I forget what they're called, but they bud out with an orange leaf. And this is gonna catch evening sun, and they just kind of glow orange when they have backlighting. So that's really pretty. And then they have the just kind of generic green foliage when they're for the rest of the year. Although I think they turn kind of dark. They turn kind of burgundy in the fall, so there is that too. But they also get pretty sizable, which again is going to add some, once this fills out, it's going to add a bit of privacy for our patio from the road perspective. So, and so that really fills out the space well. And I debated taking out this maple, but I decided to keep it there. I still don't know what I want to do in this corner. And yeah, and I'm also working on this archway. So I added 2 evergreen, I think, I don't know, they're junipers or something. I can't use arborvitae because the deer just eat those like crazy. So I put 2 there mainly because I wanted this one, because that one, once it fills out, so this will all be filled with when the flowers come out, and then also when the grapevine is out. So that'll be filled, and then this will add a little bit of privacy, especially as it grows. And then as we walk this way, I added this one just to kind of close that gap. I also took out this blue spruce, dwarf blue spruce, which I had tucked too far back underneath this hydrangea, and it didn't get a lot of sun, which is why it's kind of lopsided and stuff. And so since I'm expanding this area, trying to just kind of make it a little bit more secluded, so this is going to be kind of a much more expansive curve here, and I'm kind of going with a blue evergreen and then colored shrub kind of thing. So the red bark really looks good up against blue, I think, even though they're pretty shrimpy right now. But hopefully those should grow, and it's only the new growth that is red, so these do have to be trimmed. It would be better if they were like in front of some sort of blue shrubbery, but that's I can always move them if they don't actually end up looking good. So, and then I've got some burning bushes, not burning bush, smoke bushes that I have to put in, and some more rhododendrons. So lots of stuff going on. It's just kind of overwhelming. Oh, and then a little bit of lawn back here. So so the walkway kind of went this way. That's just kind of the natural way to go. And I'm kind of shifting it over this way. And actually that kind of lines up a little bit more with how the archway is going anyway. But this ridge is a little bit too much. And it's actually a little bit too high for our patio too. It'd be better if it drained out this way. So I would dig up this, I would scrape under the sod, flip it over, take some dirt out of it, and then put it back. And so that's why it looks horribly lumpy bumpy, but at least it's lower. And that also helps the gate to swing okay. Oh, in terms of grass in the backyard, I guess I didn't even cover that. Boy, this just gets so beat up with foot traffic, and I mean, look how awful it looks right now. It's amazing that it looks like this, and then eventually it actually grows in. You can see kind of the yellow color of the POA in some areas. Even where I sprayed it out, I can definitely tell where the new ryegrass is that I put in. as seed because it's nice and dark, but it's a little bit sparse and the POA is actually still there. It kind of, I only did one application of Roundup, so it just didn't work that effectively. So my plan this year, I think, for this is I can't redo this year or anything. So I'm gonna really nuke it with fertilizer, try to get it to come in strong, kind of like the dog pea spots are. And then I'm gonna be seeding. I don't even know, I have bluegrass from Ryan Norris Mix, and I also have the ryegrass, and I don't know, I'm just gonna be sprinkling it out there, throughout the year, just to always have it keep regenerating and stuff. And hopefully it won't be as thin, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go to the front yard. Actually, this little motif came in okay. So this is another one of the pink flowering dogwoods, which I'm realizing that I didn't take out of the burlap sack. That could be an issue. And then I've got two evergreens here, and I had put the daffodils in. This is their second year, so those came up pretty good. All right, here is the tall fescue, turf type tall fescue. This has been looking green for about a month now. The color has been really good, but there's so much weed pressure. I've got good amount of hairy bittercress coming up in some areas. I also have a little bit of spurge. And then obviously there's some thin spots here and there, which for some reason this section like always doesn't grow well. I wonder if there's something wrong with the soil. Here it's going to be tough to do these edges too. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work. And then over here where it was kind of shady in the fall, actually kind of shady all year. Not too shady right now though, because the leaves haven't come in the trees, so it gets sun through there. But yeah, lots of areas that I need to seed. It's also kind of lumpy bumpy, and so I roll over it. I did get a roller this year, but I don't know if that's really gonna do much. You can see like this, look how much weed that is. So hopefully these fall germinating weeds will kind of peter out during the summer, really get this grass growing, and then get the seed areas. I'm probably going to try to do that today. I'll do some seed, fertilizer, and tenacity as an additional pre-emergent, and also hopefully to kind of stall some of these other weeds. But yeah, I think once the grass is actually growing up, and I'm intending to, at least for the first year, have it pretty tall, at least 3 inches. After all, it is called tall fescue. And maybe once it starts looking pretty pure, then I can take the height down or something like that. But I want it to be thick, rich, and really choke out those other weeds. So otherwise, everything is about the same, I think. These areas, which is mostly legacy fine fescue and bluegrass, I guess, just whatever survives. Not great. I did already do my crabgrass prevention, which included these areas and then the field back there. And then this is an area that eventually I'd like to reseed this, but I don't know if I'll get around to doing that this year. So, all right, there you are. This is a long video. I didn't think it was going to be this year, but that is the spring 2024 tour. Stay tuned for more videos of how this stuff goes.